Audrey, thank you so much for joining Rich and I today at the interview of Successful Realtors, as you are an amazing, successful realtor. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. And that's very kind of you to say that. But yes, we do hustle over here.
I know. One of the things I can tell you about Audrey is that she takes it personally. When you have somebody who takes your situation and has a personal interest beyond the economic benefit, that's what you want, because nobody's going to fight harder for your deal, and that's what Audrey and her team does.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, at the end of the day, you're only as good as your last transaction, right? So you have to have relationships with these people in order to get repeat referral business in the future, along with, always constantly adding to your database through prospecting and networking. So I do really take it. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you. I do take it personally. I want these people to get that home just as bad as they want it themselves. So the number one thing in regards to working with buyers is to have a preferred lender that can make it happen on your behalf. And then in addition to that, also being a listing agent, it's really important for you to have a really great relationship with a lender who can also rescue your deals, whether you have the buy or the sale side, which is honestly what Rich has done for me multiple times in the past. Just did a rescue deal for me after 3 lenders said no, 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 because these people already came referred to me, already pre-approved. Rich got the deal done and we closed. He got the deal within 2 weeks before closing. We had no extension on closing, and he rescued my deal. And the buyers were so extremely grateful that they got the home after they were told 3 times that they weren't going to be able to get it. So thank you so much, Rich. Appreciate you on that.
Thanks.
Audrey, so can you give us a scenario of how you and Rich met, how the brand team and the Hutchinson Group met, and what deals you've had and how you work together?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Ayala.
Thank you.
I would say the very first deal that Rich did for me was a rescue deal, actually. I met him at a networking event, and of course, being in the business for a few years, I do have a lot of preferred vendors and or lenders that I work with on a regular basis, and Rich came to me very highly recommended. So what I did was I was actually part of a coaching program. I landed in Las Vegas. The first text message I read was the buyer's lender. I had the listing at this time. The buyer's lender informed me that they could not do the deal. What did I do? I said, well, now's the time. If Rich can do this, he will be one of my preferred lenders that I will work with on a regular basis. I immediately called Rich. 1, he answered the phone. 2, he said, let me do some quick research. I'll get back to you in 5 minutes. Rich got the deal done. We closed successfully. And from there, he made me a believer ever since. And now he is my preferred lender that I work with on a regular basis. So much that my daughter, when I'm answering the phone call, she's like, hi, is this Rich? Blah, blah, blah. So she actually will pretend like she's on the phone to Rich because I call her, have his number on speed dial. But I am very loyal to Rich and his team only because he saves my deals, once again, like I said, on the buy side and the sell side on a regular basis. So I do use him for everything.
Well, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, because like I said, our reputation, we're only as good as the last deal that we did, and our reputation is the only thing that we have in this business. So as you know, as long as I build a team of preferred people around me that are going to make me successful and make the closing successful, that's my number one thing, is to get my buyers and sellers to the finish line, the closing table. So
I do want to piggyback. There's one thing that Audrey said that wasn't 100% correct, but it was pretty close when I said I could do it. So in my career, I've given 4 people a pre-approval on a loan that we did not close for that loan. Over the whole life of me doing this, which is, I don't know, probably more than 1,000 transactions, 4 people. And 3 of them closed within 6 months on a different property, but we eventually got them to a position where they closed, and only 1 I wasn't able to do no matter what. But they still haunt me to the day why I remember the 4. But normally, if I give you a pre-approval, it's as rock solid as it gets.
Well,
Definitely.
Rich is batting 100 for me, so
That's true too. All right, that is true. Okay. Well, you talked about how strong a relationship between a realtor and a loan officer can be. What are some of the common challenges or hurdles that you've encountered in real estate transactions, and how does a loan officer assist in overcoming these challenges for a successful closing?
So that's a great question. A lot of times, a lot of the hurdles we do come across are going to be a lot of the specific terms and conditions of the contract, right? So in regards to working with buyers, you do need to have a lender who knows what they're doing, who's already pre-approved, who has underwriting in their office, not out of state, not somewhere else. Because if the deal goes south or something needs to be done immediately, they can literally walk over to the department and say, hey, look, I need this, this, and this. Time is of the essence, right? We all know about the terms of the contract is all about the time. Time is of the essence. We need things to be done immediately because not everybody is willing to get extensions done. One thing that I always do with Rich when I am working with a specific buyer, and let's say there is a multiple offer situation, I will call Rich immediately and say, hey, Rich, how tight of terms can we be with this particular buyer on this contract? What can we do to make sure that we get the deal done? Rich will pull up the file really quick. He'll look at what he can potentially do as soon as possible. I put those terms as tight as possible. And that's really the reason why, excuse me, I apologize. That's really one of the reasons why I do win on a regular basis, because I work with Rich so closely, and his terms for the actual contract are so minimal that we get deals done really fast on a regular basis. And like I said, he's batting 100. If Rich says that he can get it done, I put those terms on the contract and it is done. Very, very rarely do we ever have to get any type of extensions for anything. So in regards to working the relationship that you have with your loan officer, it's really, really important that you could be able to pick up that phone, call your lender at any given time. I called Rich the other night at 8:30 at night, which I'm trying not to work past 8 o'clock, but sometimes it happens. And he picks up his phone and he'll tell me, Audrey, for this offer, you can do this, this, and this. And you need that relationship with somebody. In addition to what Rich does as well is Rich will also, once I send over the offer, I have a conversation with the agent. Look, we're on the same team. We're trying to get the buy and the sale together to have a successful closing. I always try to create a relationship with the agent on the other side, whether I'm the listing agent or the buyer's agent. I'm always trying to create a relationship with that agent on the other side. So that way we can work together as a team to get it done, which that's where Rich comes into play as well, because I'll immediately call Rich and say, hey, look, I sent over this offer. Can you please reach out to that agent on the opposite end to make sure that, they know that my buyer is a well-qualified buyer, already through underwriting, good to go, no ifs, ands, or buts, we're going to close on this loan. And Rich does that on my behalf. And that also has really helped me get a lot of buyers to the finish table because I have a great relationship with my preferred lender, and Rich really takes his job serious just as much as I do. We're both so passionate about this that it's a great relationship, and he will do anything it takes to get the loan closed as well. So it's really important you have a really great relationship with your lender in regards to that, and that you guys are both on the same page.
I do want to sort of piggyback on it a little bit, just because one of the things that I find when I call the agents, just about every single time I call one of the listing agents on the transaction with Audrey, they comment about how professional and knowledgeable that Audrey seems to be, and that they really want to work with her. So me telling them about the client is almost secondary to Audrey already selling herself, and people want to do business with who they know, like, and trust. And Audrey, definitely sends that message when she's talking to them.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Yes. Same. I mean, honestly, like I said, there was a situation last Friday. We had a deal that closed. It was the third. Like I said, they came to me. They were a referral. They came to me already pre-approved. You can't push it too much. But I did my best. After the third lender said, sorry, I can't do it, I said, let me reach out to one more lender who's my preferred lender. I reached out to Rich. Rich said that he could get the deal done. And the agent on the opposite end literally said, if he can get it done, he's made me a believer. Well, guess what? He got the loan closed in 2 weeks, and he made her a believer. And he actually, I believe, she told me that she reached out to you, Ayala, for some cards to make sure that she tells everybody the good news about Rich and his team, that he gets deals done when people have denied, literally 3 people had denied the loan. sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, no.
what I'm telling you is that it's so important that just like real estate agents are not all created equal, lenders are not all created equal, and you really need to partner up with a lender who knows what they're doing. And that's the Brand Lending team.
Thank you. I was telling Audrey's husband, Steve, we were actually talking about this in another setting that we were in, about all the times people get like a pre-approval letter. They get this pre-approval letter. They use this as their means to buy a property. They go to contract. They're 2 weeks in, as what this case is in. They've got a pre-approval. They think everything is rosy. And then they're saying, hey, you know what? Sorry, you're not pre-approved. You're out of luck. Sorry, we made your hopes up. We brought your hopes up. It's not going to work out. And then they have to go. Then they have to start over from that process to find somebody. Fortunately, they have somebody like Audrey who fights and says, "Let me put you in somebody who might know a little bit more to get you in the right path." And so we get those done. It's a horrible heartache. And one of the things that I just want to make sure that we kind of reiterate is we don't just rescue deals. It'd be better if you just came to us first, and then you wouldn't have the heartache.
Yes, 100%. Yes, Rich, I mean, those are the easy ones, right? The easy ones as well. But what I'm saying is that you really just need a lender to know exactly what they're doing, because a lot of lenders, and especially in weird markets, they don't know what they're doing, and things will slip through people's fingertips, and they won't get the homes that they're looking for. So that's why it's so important. Rich can do all VAS loans. I mean, he has multiple different programs for people in every different price point to help them get the house that they're looking for.
And the goal is to get everybody in a home. That's the goal. That's the goal of the brand team. That's the goal of the Hutchinson Group. We just want to get everybody out of the rental market in their home, so they have ownership, home ownership. That's the American dream of owning your own home. So that's so important.
Audrey, if you could pick the three most important things that sort of set you apart to be able to do what you do in terms of the real estate business, what do you think the three big key things are for you?
Oh, that's a great question. I would have to ask, are you talking about the buy side or the sale side?
I'm talking about in general, either way, and in terms of your way to connect and build trust with the consumer, whether it's a seller or a buyer. What are those things like that you do to make that happen?
I think that's a great question. I think I've just been doing it for so long that I have a lot of confidence in myself and my preferred team that I work with. Not necessarily, and when I talk about team, I'm talking about my title attorney, my lenders, my inspectors, things of that nature, not people who are physically on my team, just so people are aware of that. But I just have so much confidence in my team, which gives me confidence to understand that I know that I'm one of the best real estate agents for this person to get the deal done, because I've come across in my experience a lot of very unique, weird, quirky situations, which has only made me that much better of a real estate agent to understand a lot of different situations, to be able to be a really, really, really good solution problem solver, right? And coming up with that solution that I know that I need to get the deal done. And I'm able to, because I've done this for so long, I'm able to, for instance, reach out to Rich on a regular basis if something goes sideways with the loan, or to reach out to my real estate attorney if something's going sideways with the title or anything of that nature. So I just feel like that's helped me. And then also just being so passionate about what I do. A lot of people always talk about, oh, Powerball, it's 1.2 billion or whatever the number is. That everybody always asks me, Audrey, if you were to win the Powerball, the Mega Millions, or anything of that nature, what would you do? And I said, honestly, I'd still do real estate. I love this business so much. I'm so passionate about it. And I think that really comes through to my buyers and sellers. That this is my full-time career. This is what I do on a regular basis. Every day, I'm trying to learn something new to just better myself for my clients. I'm trying to learn a new loan program that Rich has going on. I'm trying to learn something different in regards to how I can help these people, like Rich talked about, like if their credit maybe isn't so good. Well, Rich has a program where I can put them on to where it helps their credit, so they become mortgage ready. So it's just little things like that I'm so passionate about. And I'm really, truly, I genuinely care about people buying and selling. And I think that really just shines through. And that's really just given me the one up, and what else can I say? That's really
Yeah,
it.
that
I
honestly was
love what
well
I
said.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
was definitely well said.
thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Enough about me. What about you? I mean, what advice would you offer a home buyer to really help them improve their credit score and financial profiles, which can ultimately lead them to be mortgage ready to have better terms and rates?
I think the one of the things I always say about credit is your credit score is really a reflection of your willingness to meet your credit obligations, not necessarily a measure of your ability. Um, and so if you're going to be borrowing money from somebody, you want to show a lot of willingness to repay it back. So what the big thing that you have to make sure to do is just continue to pay your bills on time. If you've fallen behind and you fell back or whatever, then start from whatever day you're on and make that a priority to pay those bills on time. You want to address collection accounts. You don't want to ignore them. If somebody says that you have a bill, even if you sort of dispute it, sometimes it's just easier to pay it, especially if it's a small amount. As crazy as that sounds, I think some of the creditors sort of rely on that, but you can also settle those debts. You don't have to pay it in full. The last thing that I would say is, depending on your situation, sometimes adding an authorized user and being able to take advantage of their good credit is going to help your credit score. So those are a couple of different things that you could do. We do things that we do when we're going through this process of getting somebody who's not mortgage ready to be mortgage ready is making sure we get all the pieces to your puzzle, including pulling your credit. And then we can give you very, very specific things that you need to do or that a person would need to do to get their credit score up and within a certain time frame. And then we follow up with them after even, once we kind of set them on that path, we follow up with them regularly to make sure buying a home is still a priority and that they're doing the things that we suggested that they do.
Yeah, that's great, right? And most lenders don't do all of these things. They literally will have a conversation with you over the phone, send you out a pre-qual letter, and then hope that it sticks at the end of the day when you get closer. So, I mean, that's just another testament of why the Brant Lending team probably has batted 1 out of 1,000 where he couldn't figure something out to get that person mortgage ready. Rich, I have another question for you. Say that again.
That used to be my mom.
Yeah, well, now it's you though, right?
That's right.
One other question I have for you, Rich, is what are some common red flags or challenges that might arise during the mortgage application process? I mean, being a real estate agent, we don't deal with the lending side of things. So what are some red flags or challenges that might arise? And then also, how can real estate agents and loan officers really proactively address these issues to prevent any delays?
So from the start, one of the things that we do is we do something that I call a high trust interview. The high trust interview is really about me talking to the borrower and getting them to understand that I'm the right guy to be their lender. At the same time, the other thing that I'm doing is I'm gathering all their information to make sure that they're qualifying. And so one of the ways to avoid red flags is really to make sure that you have a comprehensive view of their entire picture. How they make them, not only how much money do they make, but how they make it, how frequent do they get paid, where's the money coming from. If somebody tells you they've got $10,000 and it's sitting under their mattress, that presents a problem. If they're thinking about quitting their job, you want to know all these different variables that sort of happened. And then you want to remind them not to do, the big no-nos, like don't buy a car, don't get new credit, don't co-sign for anybody, and that kind of thing. So those are some of the red flags that we try to avoid that can happen. And then once you work with the Brant Lending team, we're going to make sure during that process that you're not going to do anything to cause a hiccup at the end of at the final moments. There is one thing I wanted Audrey to talk about too. Audrey, talk about some recruiting agents for your team, because I know you're looking to build your team at EXP and enhance that and some of the benefits that you offer. So why don't go ahead and talk a minute about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me to have an interview with you. It's such an honor that you guys think so highly of me. So thank you. I appreciate you guys. Also, so we have this crazy goal. Our crazy goal for my team and I is to add 100 agents into either our team and or to partner with us with EXP by December 2024. So if you know anybody, any agents that are potentially struggling, maybe want more support, want to implement systems, we offer all of these things for the agents that do partner with us, and then also that join our team. So reach out to me anytime. You can also reach out to my husband, Stephen Wayne, who's not on the call, but he's also my other counterpart. He does all the systems and processes for us. So thank you, Rich, for allowing me to speak about that.
Well, Audrey, Rich, thank you so much. Audrey, thank you so much for joining us, joining Rich and myself. And we look forward to future transactions. We look forward to working and growing and nurturing our relationships. And as we always say, everyone get approved and in a home. So that's the goal here.
Audrey, I want to thank you for spending some time with us today. Ayala, as a host, great job as always. I really appreciate you being here. I think the information that we lay out is great. Getting to know you is fantastic, Audrey, because you're a remarkable agent. And I'm privileged that you trust me enough to continue to refer us. So I thank you for that. I hope everybody enjoyed this segment with us, and you're going to tune in for more. So thanks and have a great day.